Hello, everybody.
Hello.
What's going on?
Doing well. Welcome back.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, Roger,
With English, and then we do some Swiss press. Please.
141 days since your last match on hard courts. Are you rusty?
I don't think so. I actually been practicing on hard courts. It's not like I haven't played on hard courts forever. So no, I feel like I'm really ready to go. Anxious actually, because I could have played Toronto. Chose not to do it for the health of my body and for energy purposes for Cincy, US Open, Laver Cup. There's still so much to come. That I didn't want to be hurt and. So obviously watching Toronto from afar is hard to do when you know you're ready to go. I would have never done this, like 10 years ago. All of a sudden I'm taking decisions like these I can't believe I'm doing, but it's part of, growing older and taking care of the body. So yeah, and Cincinnati has been a great tournament for me in the past. Clearly was sad not to play here last year. 2 years ago there wasn't a chance really. So from that standpoint it's nice to be back, and hopefully I can play a good tournament starting tomorrow.
Speaking of taking care of the body, did you get a chance at all to watch Tiger Woods this weekend play golf? And can you relate to him and the aging process and fighting Father Time and so on?
I only saw a little bit, but no, I don't think I can relate to him because he's had major surgeries many times on different parts of his body, and he is older than I am, so I think his sport is different. It's always the same movement, which you can think like, oh, it's much easier, but at the same time it's always in the same precise little square centimeters that if there is a problem there, I think it can create a lot of problems. But no, it was nice to see him doing well again, since a while now. So hopefully that's going to transform in some victories now. But yeah, it was exciting PGA from what I heard and just from what I saw briefly when I watched quickly. But yeah, no, it's not easy to come back from so many surgeries. I think Tommy Haas and other athletes and tennis players in our sport can tell you more about it. I only know on the surface really what it means to be hurt.
You spoke about the decisions you're having to make now in terms of your schedule. How tricky has it been adapting to that particular part? How difficult is it for you to accept that you have to make these decisions?
Actually, because of the knee problem that I had and the surgery I had and the 6 months that I took, it's made it much more easier. It puts everything in perspective. You're happier to take maybe a week off, let's say, and stay on tour and be healthy rather than playing until something pops and then you're out for the count, maybe forever, who knows. So I think actually it is hard emotionally, because you wish you would be here, you wish you could be playing everything, but at the same time in return I get a more relaxed schedule. I can plan much better with my family, which as you know is super important to me, and then I can also plan my practices with my fitness coach, with my coaches, and everybody's rhythm is actually given, and if I want to play more I can always do that, and if I want to play less I can also do that too, and then it's like super simple, the schedule. So I think in terms of the hectic part of my life, it feels like I've passed that. Sure, I have a lot going on, but because of the rhythm now, I just feel like it's actually quite comfortable, and for that reason is when I do pull out of something or I can't play everything, it's like I do get a lot in return as well, which is a good thing.
How fun was it to do that show, Bear Grylls?
It was a year and a half ago, actually.
Why was it just airing?
I don't know what they were doing. They were figuring it out. But it was a lot of fun. I loved it. And Bear, I've met him before. I did the show many times. He came to the World Tour Finals. He came to Wimbledon. I had dinner once with him and his lovely wife as well, with Mirka in the past. So, and I know his mom is like a huge fan of mine. And we stayed in touch. And he always wishes me well and congratulates me when I'm doing well. So. He connected to me and said, like, look, if you ever want to do the show, let me know. And then I reached out to him and said, like, why not? Could we not do it in Switzerland? I'd like to show Switzerland to the world a little bit. And personally, grew up hiking. I love going for hikes with my children and this whole survival stuff. Something I feel very connected to in Switzerland with the mountains, the lakes, the forest, and all that stuff that we have. And I thought it'd be a perfect venue. The only problem was that it was snowy and it was cold, and I don't like cold. And he said we'd have to do an overnighter, and I said, well, I don't know if I can do an overnighter because I can't get sick, I can't get hurt, so I don't know why I'm doing it. And so it was all these funny things. But the great thing was that he was super flexible, and he said, you let me know. I got a chalet in Switzerland, so I can be over there in a few days. I can get my team together. And I said, oh wow, that's cool. So then after I won the Australian Open, I said like, well, I can do it. I mean, I hurt my groin, but I can do some parts of it, no problem. So he made a schedule that I think worked for us, and I had a great time. Of course, I didn't expect some of the things like the fisheye and other things, but and going down, I don't know, this big cliff. He didn't tell me about it. I thought after the first hump that it was that was it, and then he told me to keep going. I looked down and go like, oh my God, like why am I even doing this, you know? But so it was great fun. I really enjoyed it.
Good.
Roger, the context of this next question is, there's a saying, behind every successful man is a significant or important woman.
Sure.
You've talked quite a bit about Mirka recently, but I'm
Have I?
also wondering
Okay.
about, well,
On and off.
a bit, okay. I'm wondering more about your mother and the influence she's had on you. I know some of the things with your foundation and that
Sure.
you've spoken about, but what qualities and values did she instill in you?
Yeah, I mean, I think what was great about my parents and about my mom is that the pressure was there, try your best, but the pressure wasn't there that I have to play tennis or have to stay home. If I wanted to go to National Tennis Center at 14, that she would support me. You know, I would have a hard time imagining my children leaving me at 14 today, but I guess I would be open to the thought if I really felt like my son or my daughter was you know, successful at something, and you want to maybe help that, you know, by making a tough decision. I would also try to do that. It'd be hard for me, but I think my parents were great at that. I always had a wonderful relationship with them. They were not too pushy, not too in my space, but yet I always wanted them close to me. So I think today I always said, like, if they wanted to travel with me to every single tournament that I play, I'd be very happy if they said that. If they told me they don't want to come to any tournaments ever again, I would understand that too. So I feel like we were able to really navigate through this whole process of me being a junior tennis player to the professional player I am today in a really good way, because a lot of things have changed throughout. You know, I became more famous, more wealthy, more busy, more everything, you know, and I felt like our relationship thankfully never changed, because maybe if you don't change or your parents don't change, people change around you because of this situation. And I think my mom, with her background, you know, how she grew up and where she grew up, and then how things were for her in Switzerland in the very beginning, and how she did it all and managed it all. Same with my dad. Also, his upbringing, I think, helped me to stay very down to earth and very normal. And I think today I see it even more so when you have your own children, you pass that on, you know, so it always goes in generations. And I'm happy I had the parents that I had, and you know, hope they live as long as possible so we can spend more time together.
There's going to be some changes in Hopman Cup. Your thoughts on that?
What is it change?
There's going to be some changes in the Hopman Cup. It's going to go away. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm excited about the Hopman Cup next year, number one. Happy to play with Belinda. We had a wonderful couple of years now over in Perth. Also the children, everybody, I don't know, we just had a good time, you know. And then we won last year with Belinda. It was great fun. She was so excited, and yeah, I tried to mentor her as well, I guess, a little bit through that in that week, which I enjoyed. Yeah, we'll see the following year exactly what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to come to fruition, this whole event, the World Cup and all the world team and all that stuff. It all depends on maybe on other things, the votes that we're going to see with the ITF this coming weeks. I have no idea, so there's still a lot in the air. But sure, if there is an event that gets created for the better of the game, that's great, you know. And I hope that then fans get excited, the players get excited. That's what you need, and so it'll be interesting to follow the whole process of building up an event like this.
Roger, there's an event coming up in New York City featuring Brian Vahali, who is a now out gay former pro ATP player. And Kevin Anderson tweeted in support of it, also had some very kind words to say for some of the gay people that he knows in his life. I'm wondering if you have a sense of why we haven't had an openly gay tennis player on the ATP Tour, and if there's anything you can say as to whether the ATP would be a safe and receptive place for a player to come up.
Yeah, I think no problem at all. Yeah, it is true. Yeah, we have not had it. Don't know why, you know. If we haven't had any, or some players just chose not to do it, you know. I think it'd be totally accepted, no problem, you know. And I don't know, what tournament are they?
It's just an event. celebrating like culture in tennis and
Okay.
foreign
Diversity, that's good. Yeah, no, I'm all for it. It's a good thing. You know, I'm all for it. You know that everybody, you know, doesn't matter where you come from, who you are. I'm all for it. That you're open about it. That I think you'll feel better in the process, to be honest. And everybody should support one another on this planet. You know, it's all good.
Okay, what was your reaction?
Yeah,
Last one.
sure. Go ahead.
Reaction to Novak winning Wimbledon, especially after the struggles that he went through? And how exciting do you think it is to have kind of Andy coming back, Novak at his best, and you and Rafa obviously doing good?
Yeah, I think that's why we have great, an exciting draw here. You know, and of course it's a pity Rafa's not playing. You know, which would add massively to that section of the draw there now. That he's not there. You know, it's a bit of a bummer. But other than that, you have still these amazing draws with Raonic floating, Nishikori floating a little bit, Stan, Murray, even Novak. You know, who's not quite in the top 4 yet. You know, in the rankings. So you just don't know where they're going to be situated in the draw. I mean, him winning Wimbledon, obviously that was massive. You know, I don't think he expected it. Remember the press conference he gave after Paris when he was like, oh, I don't know yet. I'm just frustrated. I just want to get out of here. And people like asking him like, well, you're not going to play the grass, and he should have won Queens and goes on to win Wimbledon. So things can turn very quickly. You know. Regardless if you're positive or not, sometimes when you just put yourself out there and then you get excited in a quarters or semis of a slam and you can start playing your best tennis. So I thought it was great for the sport. I'm happy for him because I know it probably hasn't been easy the last couple of years for him. But then again, I don't think anybody should be feeling sorry for him like people are sorry for me or Rafa. We've had so much success that it's more beautiful when you do come back after a tough time. And you know, Novak can play with less pressure again, I guess, to some extent, but you get always caught up in the pressure, the media saying like, okay, well, clear, now you got to win the US Open, you know, and you're like, well, I guess so, yes. And then rather than you being able to say like, well, let's see what happens, the perspective changes from your side but also from the media. So yeah, but definitely exciting times. You know, a lot of the best players are back in the game, and I think the US Open is going to be epic. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Of course, Swiss German.
So what are we doing?
A couple of Swiss German.
Oh, that's all right.